Yo, what's up, guys? We have a hell of an episode for you guys. This is the first band that we interviewed, and it was cool.
Oh God.
On God. That's it. I gotta brush my teeth, but that's another thing. Enjoy the episode. We love you guys.
Well, welcome everybody. We are Refuse Nature, and as we have mentioned before, we are a podcast where we want to have extraordinary conversations with ordinary people like you, like me, and like our guest today. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Subject A, and here we have Subject O. And
Hello, all.
yeah, and I'm super happy for having this guest with us today because it's our first band member that we have here in the podcast. Our first musician that here is gonna share with us today. And the cool part also is that he also, besides being a musician, he also has a day type job. So it's a very down to earth approach, but his music is very cool. He works in a band called Tricks and Stuff. Great material. You guys can search for them. They're in Apple Music, they're in Spotify, they're in YouTube, in all the platforms. SoundCloud, they're also there. And well, thank you so much for being here today with us, Subject O.
Thank you, Subject A, for actually having me and forwarding this invitation. I can only say that I am pleased to come and discuss with you, and maybe together will we dive into many unexpected but very interesting universes, conversation-wise, and I can really say that I am pleased and thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. And hello to everybody listening.
Thank you, man. Thank you. No, and yeah, also welcome to everybody that's listening to us. And yeah, so I last time we spoke, you told me that you guys had like a show, no? Like you presented yourselves in a place called, I think, The Otter or something like that. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So yes, last Saturday we had a little reunion with the Artistic University program from the University of Geneva in a place called Flocky the Otter. So shoot out to them. In French, it's Flocky la Loutre, which is a great place that has a story in Geneva because the building is itself hosted many establishments, many institutions that were always focused on, the alternative music in the city. Before the Flucky Daughter was other people holding the establishment, but there were already concerts, already great parties there. And we played one of our first shows 10 years ago, actually, into this place. So it felt like home coming back on Saturday. And it felt amazing meeting the new people that came and discovered Flucky the Otter. It was great, actually. We had a blast on stage. I can only say so.
Oh, okay, that's cool, man. And how was the energy? How many people were there? Because I can imagine being in a bar is it's gotta be reduced, no? The quorum. So the energy is
Yeah,
awesome.
well, let's say that it isn't the biggest showroom that you can imagine. I would say that it fits at its max capacity, maybe 100 persons, something like that.
Nice.
And so it's crowded up very fast. But hey, it's part of the show, and when you feel the heat of the room go up because the people are packed up and just like having fun together, it really brings something more than in big shows, I would say, in which you play in front of like sometimes more people, but open air. I would say that the feel is less in like we have less intimacy when we play big stage than when we have these small stages in which we really have the chance to connect with the people, given that even the air is actually packed with the sound, packed with the heat, and also like let's not forget about this part, but also packed with the smells that some no, honestly,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
the, there is some less glamorous sides, but they make the whole charm of and the whole beauty of actually performing into a small packed room. It's great. So yeah, the people were great. Many other artists showed up. Many people loving music showed up, and people dancing front row, second row, third row. It's really nice. We had a blast. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It sounds amazing. And yeah, I completely correlate with that. Like, I've been in these scenes that, yeah, you get super packed and everything, but just the energy is so nice. No, like you feel this intimacy going on, and you, I think that's one of the things I've noticed in the past of time that maybe people, because we're not as religious as we were 100 years ago, And people still need a place where they can build community. People still need a place where they can connect in a deeper level beyond somebody trying to sell or something to them. So I think that these artistic events are the go-to in these transitions that we're as a society. So that's awesome, man. It's cool that you're part of this.
It's absolutely a blessing to be part of it. And I deeply relate to what you said about like, connecting because, I kind of feel like nowadays we're all very connected through internet. Of course, it's a blessing. Like subject A, we're talking, you're in another country that I won't name, and I am,
You can name
like,
you can name it.
can I? Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so you're basically in the Netherlands and I'm in Switzerland. So thank God the internet, hey, we're connected and we're able to lead this great collaboration together, and that is actually amazing. But on the other side, I have to say that it is really time consuming, this internet thing, and also lots of people kind of shelter themselves and lose
Yeah.
touch with real world, right? And applications to get a job, you have to do them online. All
Yeah.
university classes are now recorded, etc. So what was before a great escape and a great reach to the rest of the world sometimes feels to me like a sort of a golden cage. And so when people actually, put down their phones and show up at your show, it is such a blessing, because you can see them part of the moment
Yeah.
and see them enjoying themselves. And it always reminds me, it gives me the same feeling as when we were like, children and knocking on our neighbor's door, say, hey, let's
Are
have
you
fun
gonna come
together.
out? Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. So we're all in this very moment together, and it's sort of a, hey, let's have a party together, and no virtual things, nobody, but everybody comes as they are, everybody shows up, being themselves, no like likes on Instagram, no like Photoshop, etc. It's truly a true strong connection with the people that show up, especially because we love talking with them before and after the show. Great times, always.
I love it, man. I love that because I also see how well. It's not. It's what's something we spoke actually in our first episode that there's kind of like a gap between, for example, our generation. I think we both belong to a generation, and the next generation, which will be more like Generation C. And definitely one thing that we can see in this generation is that this new generation is that there's certain fragility emotionally speaking, and there's very few places where these people or these young boys and girls can feel like themselves and they can feel safe with the psychological safety to go ahead and express themselves. And yes, has a lot to do exactly what you were talking about, that we live like shielded from actually facing reality because we have so much virtual reality actually going on. And and that's why the job that you're doing, your artistic labor and you portraying this character when you go on and then and you being nude with your music in many ways connects in a deeper level in that. So that, man, that I respect that a lot. That's cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Well, I appreciate a lot your words. They really actually like touch me straight to my heart, and like this really makes me want to ask you a question, even if I'm supposed to be the guest.
No,
But
come on, let's do it.
like I'd be happy to know what is maybe that one souvenir you have about a great show, or maybe let's make it easier. What is a great show, a great performance when it comes to concerts for you? Subject A. I'd love to know.
Yeah, great question. I think for me, it's exactly what you were talking about. So, an artist going out there and explaining what it was the story behind a certain song, trying to make the show as interactive as possible. I loved when I went to see. It was not specifically music, but I love the stand-up comedian that I saw because he said, "Okay, guys, this first 10 minutes or this next 3 minutes, you can take as many photos as you want." But now put the cell phones down, no? Now
Yeah.
let's connect, and I love that. I really love that. But for me, speaking of music, what makes a great show for me is the quality of the music, of course, like the how good are the acoustics working, and of course how present is the band there. How you can see them you can see if they're just touring and trying to kind of like make a buck, and you can see other ones that are really giving it all into that. So that's what I appreciate for. Yeah,
I
that's a great
get
question.
that.
Yeah.
Well, these are exactly what we try to commit to. These qualities we try to commit to every show. And like I'll quote one of my old friends that we'll call Subject N, which basically I'm living into a neighborhood in which you have buildings that are like it's basically the suburbs of Geneva, right? You have buildings like facing each other, etc., etc. And so when I was 18 and I picked up the guitar and I started like soloing, etc., I had this terrible habit for my neighbor of letting my window open and jamming to Guns N' Roses Paradise City, like mimicking Slash at my window. It was summer, I was bare torso, a young man in becoming, like loving what he did. And so, yeah, this Subject N was actually living in the building in front. And he heard me from the last floor of, well, his flat is basically on the top levels of the building. And yeah, he came to my window, say, "Hey kid, like you're good, like want to practice guitar together." We were like 7 years apart, and since that day we became very good friends. And he really inspires me until now. Great guitar player, but more than just the guitar playing, he told me one thing that really stayed with me until nowadays, which is no matter where you go, play stadium shows everywhere. You play stadium shows everywhere.
Yes.
Can I curse?
Of course, please be my guest.
Play stadium shows every fucking where.
Yes.
That's the mindset. Yeah,
Yes.
like so yeah,
Yeah.
we try to commit to these words that deeply affected me. And so yeah, even like Saturday nights, little audience, very intimate. We were like smashing these drums and hitting those guitars as if we were like playing at Coachella. Like that's the thing, and people like can feel it. So you're right. It's very important to play out of the box.
I agree,
Basically.
man. I agree completely. No, and it's good that you have this motto: go hard or go home. No, like that's good. That's good. I love it. And so, tell me a little bit more about Tricks and Stuff. So, when was it? When was it founded? When was this band founded?
Like how would you say this? Tricks and Stuff is a statistical error, if I can actually, relate it to my field of my study field and my professional field, which is economics. And it is a statistical error because initially, well, 10 years ago, basically, I was simply looking to perform at my high school, show as a solo musician. And yeah, the programmation, they fucked up and they sticked me to a band. And basically, the band was called the Runaways. So instead of having one part of the concert being just the Runaways, so their band, and me, Oliver Tricks, on my own, they sticked us together, and it was too late to change the programmation when we noticed. So I met up with this band, and I was like, "Hey, apparently I'm playing with you guys, and like we have to team up because it's too late to actually make it happen. But to change the thing, we have to make it happen." And so yeah, I gigged with them. It was a all girls band except the drummer, which was really funny. And yeah, what happened is that like we gave the performance. It was absolutely terrible. Like it was really terrible. Like I'm not gonna lie. First,
The cringe was real.
yeah. No, but like I even wore a wig because I anticipated that it would be terrible. This is how how crazy this story is. And yeah, after this first show, we kind of felt during the performance that the drummer and we had sort of a musical bond, like all the rest, well, it fell apart. But hey, like this guy, Subject T, he, until this day, I wish him the best. He's not our drummer anymore, but great guy. And more than this, amazing musician. Like he has a real good feel. He's always like grooving it. I can still feel him pounding on the drums. It's crazy. What a memory. So yeah, we decided to start a venture, both of us, which became the first project of Tricks and Stuff. So on this mistake, what were the odds that the two of us actually could make something happen out of the biggest mistake of the whole programmation. They were absolutely like tiny, but yet it happened. And we started like writing our first pieces, and it was great. We were just a two-man's band in the beginning, so drums for Subject T, and I was taking the guitar and the singing. And yeah, first song, wow, I Can Make You Dance, it was called. It was a really fun song, really nice. Then something called You Fed Me Up, etc. But at some point given, we were like, hey, really cool what we're doing, but we kind of miss some grooves, some beefiness into our sound, right? So yeah, it was a wait for it. It's such a colorful memory for me that I'm gonna try to transmit it to you with all its fun details. But it was like a spring day into the completely dilapidated music room of our high school, which was like the worst music rooms that you can imagine, with everything like exploded, but the colors were beautiful. It was yellow, and the light was shining, and I said to Subject T, hey, we need a bass player. And we literally opened the door of the rehearsal room, and there was this guy, which is still my fellow best friend and bass player until that day, in front of the rehearsal room, saying like, hey guys, like I was listening to what you were doing and I played the bass, can I join? It's like,
Wow.
yeah. So that's like
Wow.
statistical errors at its finest, so
You cannot make
that's how it
things up.
started. No, you can't. Like it's crazy. Well, basically, this guy, Subject L, which is my current bass player still and best friend. Well, we were seated by coincidence also like one day before an English class together, but we only talked about music. I had no fucking clue he actually played the bass, and so that's how it started. That's the upbringing of tricks and stuff. Everything on a mistake, and still riding that mistake with the audacity and motivation to
Yeah.
make new mistakes and make them feel great.
I feel it, man. That's cool. That's a cool origin story. And when was this? So when this high school show, what year are we talking about?
2014.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's close to 10 years now that you guys been in
Absolutely,
this project.
absolutely.
Awesome, man. I love it. I love that story. And so what do you think? So when you came together and you say, okay, we're gonna play this band, we need this sound, we need this bass, and then the statistical error happened. This guy appears out of nowhere, and then here you are. You start to merge around. What was kind of your process? So did you guys defined, okay, we have influences, we're gonna do this type of music. How did it happen after that?
Like this is such a great question, because until today, we still have such a weird way of coming up with our songs. Which is actually subject. Hey, thank you very much. It's such an interesting question, because it helps me I'll also process how we come from point zero to having a full song. And yeah, well, I would say that the whole process of our music creation is basically based on spontaneity. Like really, this is the one thing. And get me like follow me until this point, in which like I want to actually define spontaneity in like two ways.
Yes.
Spontaneity, like we catch up, we do something, and spontaneity, like music manifests itself very naturally among all band members. Like even our new drummer that joined the band like 3 years ago, he has like this rhythm inside him, which makes it very easy to actually collaborate together, because I kind of feel like and maybe I'm mistaken, I can't talk for other bands, but I kind of feel like for some people, music creation is very intellectual, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we would need a song that starts like this, in the key of A, at this BPM, because it would be a great show closer to actually like raise the temperature and the rhythm and the tempo, sorry, at this point. But on our side, it's really like, hey guys, I hear this in my head. Um, there you go. What you think about it? And that's how we wrote basically, yeah, 100% of our songs came from, like this spontaneous music living inside us. And it gave birth to some, good songs and some songs that are, let's call them abstract.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I understand. Yeah, they need to find their shape. They need to find their own voice, their own sequence. Yeah, I got you.
Mhm.
I got you. That's very interesting, man. That's cool. So and did you say, okay, so are we gonna just make music for these genres, or whatever comes to our mind? If tomorrow we start to feel a reggae beat, we're gonna go at it. Or did you say, okay, no, we're gonna stick to these types of genres?
Well, you know, the thing is that we are naturally flirting with different genres, given that the three of us, so especially now, I'm talking about like our current formation,
Yeah.
which is subject L, subject O, myself, and subject A, our last drummer. Bless him, he's such an amazing drummer. Love him as well. And so, you know, um, given that the three of us have very different influences, we flirt with many different music styles without even really thinking about it, but we still have a line, a guiding line, like a red line that we follow, I would
Mhm.
say, because like our bass player, Subject L, he did his studies into classical piano, basically.
Okay.
He is a prolific piano player, but also plays into a metal band,
Whoa.
so
Yeah.
yeah, right. And yeah, shout out to them. The band is called Malfas. It's crazy black metal. They're like gigging a bit everywhere in Europe right now. And yeah, these guys know what they do. They have a stronger identity and like really a great musicianship for what I can tell. It's not my genre of music, but I mean, they're really good. So yeah,
Mm.
that's for subject L. Uh, so subject A, I'm always almost like saying the names, but subject A, like he was into like punk rock a lot,
Mm.
all the things that are like Travis Barker, etc. Blink, blah blah blah, all these influences.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a very 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 fast-paced imaginative drummer. His spirit is like his music taste, I swear. If
Mm.
you have a conversation with him one day, you'll see. Great guy, great mouth that he runs perfectly also, like he's really and great drum rolls, like he's a good talker and a good musician. And for myself, man, like you're gonna maybe like find it kind of odd, but I like yeah, hip hop, pop
Mm.
music, you
Mm.
know, all that. And before I started my music venture, actually I was breakdancing, so I was, really bathing into what nowadays people tend to call black music.
Mm.
Um, and it's great. Like I love the funk, I love the
Oh
soul,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love all that, so I think that we have sort of a triangle of gender in which we try to meet in the middle, but sometimes it goes a bit more, like rock, a little bit hard rock when we go towards like subject L's influences. Sometimes we go really, really like punk and pop punk, when we blend our ideas with the subject A, and when I'm the main influence of a song, it goes really like somehow hip hop ish. Given that everything that I write is actually in rhymes, if you actually want they take or if any listener actually here today takes one day the time to look at our lyrics,
Yeah.
um, there's a strong work on
Bars.
very
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
rhymes,
Yeah.
so that's our thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't really define it otherwise.
No, that's very cool, man. No, that's a great answer. Yeah, I was seeing that. And what also when I was listening to your music, I loved that. Um, it is very direct, no? So it's very, it doesn't polish it around. It doesn't put makeup on the situations. You say the things as they come. So you talk about certain experiences or certain emotions that you had in a very in a great rhyming structure, and at the same time in a very direct, honest way. What do you think is the message of Tricks and Stuff? So, well, first of all, who writes the music? Do you guys collaborate to write the music, or you sit down and you're the one that creates the songs, the lyrics?
So you're specifically talking about the lyrics, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So yeah, I am the one who actually takes responsibility of the penmanship, if we may say so.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, it's still a collaborative process because it is very, very important to me that what I write actually connects to my bandmates, emotions. If they feel like what I am trying to express is, something that they also relate to. And it's also a very good clue as a writer, given that personality-wise, the three of us were different. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're like not at all the same human beings, and it's actually great that we make it work out still. And yeah, given that we have very different personalities, when I come up with my lyrics and I forward them to my band, well, the first test is, okay, is subject L and subject A gonna relate with one sentence, two, three? Is it gonna like trigger something towards them? And are they willing to defend also like this message?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it still is a very collaborative process into the choice at least of what we present. But yeah, penmanship, it's basically me and myself and my sleep problems, like that's that's a fun part of it,
Yeah.
But I tend to, yeah, right. We were talking before about like internet and this fast-paced world in which we are living,
Yeah.
all of us right now.
Yeah.
And this makes it that the one moment my spirit and my soul and my emotions and everything that actually makes me subject O as I am are actually free to express themselves in my head is when I go to bed, basically when I lie down,
Yes.
like this. The music starts playing in my head and, never happens the right time. It's always too late. And yeah, so I guess that like at least 80% of the tracks I wrote in my whole life were written between 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, I
That's
feel you.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's maybe also why they are so, let's say, crude, so naked, so like one of our listeners at some point even said that our song Darkest Secrets, which addresses the fact that like people do not communicate like truly anymore, and that we actually would benefit of connecting deeper and revealing also the deep parts of ourselves. Like one of our listeners even said that those lyrics were brutal in their honesty, and
Yeah.
I think that the context of when I write them makes them also brutal, because when you're having insomnia like between 1 and 3 in the morning because you write song, you just go pure.
Yeah.
You go pure, no filter. And always brings back to, yeah, Arctic Monkeys. Like Alex Turner said it, the nights are made for saying things that you can't say tomorrow days. This
Yes.
is a strong quote of Alex Turner.
Yeah.
He has such a beautiful penmanship as well. Wow. And so yeah, so that's
Cheers
how
to Alex.
Yeah, cheers to Alex. If you ever see this, you got one boy inspired, that's for sure. One boy, one man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also live, it's a cool show. No, but I understand what you're saying here. Like there is a point in the night, especially with tired brains, that I understand how things can just out of the sudden start to flow, and it's almost like an uncontrollable energy that you feel like
Exactly.
like an impulse. Like I gotta put this out. It doesn't even belong to me. It belongs to out there. So that's why I respect about the way you approach the penmanship and the way you approach the music, because then so correct me if I'm wrong. Then we would say that the message of Tricks and Stuff, it is it is an intimate voice that we all have in these 1 to 3 a.m. times about the crude aspects of our realities, no? And those realities have to do, because I see that there are some subjects, recurring subjects or recurring themes that happen. No, you talk a lot about relationships. You talk about a lot about sex, about compulsive behavior, and I love it, man. So how did these things start to take shape within you?
You know, I'd say that. Well, now I'm 29, right? So time flowed, but I noticed growing up where I grew up with the youth in which I am part of, that we all sort of have these things happening to us and nobody tells anybody, but at the end of the day, we know. You can look at your friend's eyes and you know in your friend's eyes that this and this happened. But
Yeah.
nobody, and most of the time, if people like don't say it, it's because most of the time also they don't have words. And I was like, damn, I don't have words either when I think about it, but hey, I have music, right?
Yeah.
And music will actually be able to actually translate like all these emotions into me, because when you're into the writing process, you really, like you really boil down everything and you try to find one word that actually echoes for 1,000 or other. So I found like it was like to me it's clearly a coping mechanism. I'm not hiding from it, like
All good.
it is a coping,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so most of my love songs that I write are actually things that I wish that I would have lived. So this is one thing.
It's very deep.
And that's man, like I feel naked right now. I think it's the first time I ever say this, but it's very true though. Yeah, so and I know that it is a very tough like tough place in which we're all thrown. Like we're all trying to do our best and we're all trying to, like go one day at a time, make one new thing at a time. And where I'm going with this is that, yeah, if I try to write songs for people that need just a helping hand at some point,
Yeah.
a helping hand that I would have like loved, at some point, because music, even if I never had like, very, 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 very dark thoughts, I can say for sure that music like saved my life so many times.
Yes.
Listening to all my favorite artists, whether it's Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse, etc. Like, and in some moments I was in such darkness in which you don't see anything, but thank God, music is not something you see, it's something you feel. And I was listening to like those writers, those lyrics, those guitar solos, those violins, etc., and it pulled me up. And so that's basically my quest. My quest is to write lyrics and write music that basically can, just give to that one somebody to who it is by the gods destinated to, the little push, to go and move on. That's and be stronger. That's it.
Yeah. That's it, man.
Say,
Oh man, I think that's super deep what you're saying, and I think it requires courage to go out there and do it, because I guess that a lot of people from our generation, or a lot of people in general, are asking themselves, so when would I start this? Why am I procrastinating so much? Why do I feel the same way I feel? Does anybody out there understand me or understand the things that we're going through? And pretty much what you're saying here is, yeah, I understand it. And
yeah,
I wrote
exactly.
about it. I made a song about it. Here it is. No, so that's
That's pretty much it. And like, like we do not pretend that we perfectly understand everybody,
yeah,
and all the complexities of every like great human being that is out there, which by the way, like I meet so many inspiring people, man. I'm so gifted because either if it is a bad relationship or a good relationship that I encounter in my life, it's always so inspiring because people are amazing. And this is maybe also one message that Tricks and Stuff has to push forward, is that like, man, people are amazing.
yeah,
People are amazing.
yeah,
No matter what, people are amazing in their way. Like, and it is also a strong message of self acceptance that we try to forward to everybody. And we even wrote a song about it, which is called You're No Magazine, that basically treats the theme of social media, that creates basically like, archetypes. And then you have like the reality. But man, like screw the archetype, like you're just great as you are. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, that would be also a strong message, I would say. And yeah, given that we can't promise that we understand everybody, we're always like, I at least, I'm very sensitive to people around me when they talk about, their things. And I try to see, very often when I listen, like, hey, do I relate? And when I relate, sometimes it becomes, the thing they share with me, like basically goes inside me and it starts triggering a thought process, etc. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like actually, like those are things that if I didn't listen to this person, I wouldn't have noticed about myself.
Yeah.
And actually, most probably lots of people also feel the same way. Wow, okay, what do I feel right now? And I start writing, I'm like, oh, that's amazing. That's why I say people are amazing. People are incredible. Always listen to the story. Even if it's somebody you don't feel like you could learn something from it, the biggest contrast and paradox of my musicianship is that I would say, like, yeah, before I said that 80% of my music is written at night. It is true, but on another 100% in the what happens inside, you could take a good like 80 other percent saying that my music is always created in the biggest silence, which means when I'm actually listening and trying to connect to others. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest paradox of my life, I guess.
Yes,
So,
I agree. I
you know.
agree completely. No, it makes total sense. Yeah, because I was going to ask you that. So I was going to ask you, so besides the 1 to 3 a.m. window, which is like the golden window for the night crawler, and besides that, are there only other episodes or moments of spontaneous creativity that happens? Because something that has happened for me, for example, in some other things, is that you have like a dinner, or you're going to an aquarium or to a museum, and suddenly out of the blue it hits you and something there kind of makes sense, or out of a conversation. And you were saying a little bit about this, so yeah, I guess that there are more creative episodes than that happen, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. It's absolutely true. Yet I think that to me the writing really like inking some words really takes place at night. But I think that the creative process, even if some people out there listening or not listening to this podcast like didn't notice, but I think that like us as human beings, we're all like creatures of creation basically,
Yes.
and that whether it's an idea, whether it's a painting, whether it's see like this great podcast, etc. Like this is creation, like you can't
Yes.
like label it like differently. And I think that creation takes place somehow at each and every second of the day, if you allow it to happen. And that's why like saying all the social media things, etc. Those are things that are really a big nemesis, I would say, a big nemesis when it comes to actually like our creative nature. Because
Yeah.
like you have this conversation, you start like having something that goes in your head, etc. If you don't let this idea like grow like a plant into your brain, but you actually straight up like take your phone and try to get informed about others, you will never be informed about what's happening into yourself, and hence
Yeah.
you will never be able to actually create. So that's
Yes.
why
Yes.
always be careful with the cell phone, no?
Yeah, no, I agree
It's crazy.
completely, man. And although it's kind of a paradox in a way, right? Because for us as well, I consider you more a creator than me, but let's say that we're both creators in a way, no? But so
Of course we are.
okay, so assuming it is kind of a paradox in the way that we both kind of to survive or to increase our audience and to engage with the people, we depend a lot on technology. But when it comes to and the paradox starts because when it comes to actually creating, to sitting down, to analyzing how are we going to connect with our audience, we don't really need all this technology. We actually need to go deep inside and have that.
Absolutely.
So I think that a lot of our journey is, or also your journey more, I guess, is balancing this act, no? Like balancing how am I going to use technology to try to connect with people in a way, but also how do I connect with myself, and I don't get addicted to technology, so that I can actually go deeper into my subjects, into my message, into my music. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're totally right. But how do you feel about that actually? Like when it comes to like a good balance between like remaining connected to the world and being connected to yourself. What would be the perfect balance regarding this?
I got no clue, man. I suck at this.
Yeah,
I mean, as well, we met each other via threads, no? So
yeah,
we need to post there every day. We need to keep on connecting to people, responding messages. I need to do things in Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, all these types of platforms. I do stuff in Spanish. I do stuff in English. So I guess that my ideal thing would be that every morning have like a motto or a mechanic, like a mantra, let's say, that I would wake up and meditate under two or three principles, which is keep your ego in check, don't let your
yeah,
obsession harm the ones that you love, and something like work hard, no, or keep on going at it. If I could remember to myself these three things every day, I think I would balance better my social
mm,
media participation and my creative processes, and I will have a healthier life. In the other side of that is that definitely there's been a lot of inspiration in my life happening when you are in a lot of excess, or when things are messed up, no? So I
yeah,
completely relate what you were saying, no? Like this is a coping mechanism. I completely agree with it. Like not because you said it or it applies to yourself, because I think it applies to a lot of people that are trying to create
yeah,
something. This is something happened when you were a kid, or you were traumatized by something, or you were depressed, or you were anxious, or you were having PTSD, whatever, and then you found a way to kind of express these emotions that were complex, that were very intimate, that were sometimes dirty, that were sometimes very confusing, and through there you got this high sense of inspiration, and that connects with a lot of other people, and then you become the voice of the voiceless somehow, and
yeah,
and so that I think it's part of it. So answering your question, I think meditating will be useful, having like a stable mantra to kind of balance these actions. But if you lose your way, then you will also get inspiration from it. That's what I would say. What would you say to this, by the way? How do you balance these two parts?
I honestly love your answer. I'm just like taking it in. Wait, it was really good. It like resonated with me. Nah, that was good. Especially that you said some honest truth about getting out of your out of yourself sometimes, and finding yourself like completely messed up, like a XYZ like situation, and this triggering actually a creative process afterwards. And this is so true. And it's so funny because while you were saying this, I was just seeing the faces of all my fellow other songwriters I know,
Mm.
with who we most of the time also engage into talking about what we can't really talk about, like other people. Like there
Yeah.
is a sort of an intimacy that is created between one musician and another, especially when both really write lyrics, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can tell one thing, that it is such a stereotype, but hey, check up on your like artist friends, check up on them, because when they start like writing and writing and writing, most of the time something is happening and they're like actually like coping
Oh
with it
wow.
in a hardcore way. So please,
Yeah.
guys, wherever you are, check up on your artist friends,
Yeah.
and never forget that sometimes the most beautiful love song is actually like a big, scream disguised in a nice melody. And so, yeah, that's why, yeah, that
Yeah.
really made me wonder in my spirits with this. And yeah, I would say, uh, to answer your previous question, which is how do I balance with the creation part and the open to the world part?
Yeah.
That's how I understood it, at least.
Yeah.
I would say that I still have a bit of trouble finding a perfect balance, but I try really to be present. This is maybe the best answer I could actually word, meaning that moments in which I feel like, hey, okay, I have to let go. I
Yeah.
let go 100%. And maybe sometimes a bit too much if you ask reasonable people about it. And I have no trouble with reasonable people. It's just not exactly who I am when it comes to processing some ideas and some emotions. And when it is a creation time, well, I try to go 100% in. And that's how I deal, and which means that, well, I'm not posting on threads. I'm not like really connecting with others, because most of the time when I disconnect with others, it means that I am deeply like anchored into myself and deeply connected with the previous connections that I had, processing all that and writing about it. And so yeah, um, I never found like a correct balance, I would say. I'm
Mm.
always like, very disconnected but connected to myself, or very connected to others and not specially connected with myself. It's always like ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. But on average, I'm fine. I mean, I manage. I manage. It's part of my personality. I stopped really paying attention to, the as I said, like as the social media with all those motivation posts,
Oh yeah.
etc. Like
Yeah.
they you have a post like every day when I open my Instagram up, I encounter at least like one, two, three, 10 posts that say that you must, in order to be successful, have like everything figured out. You have
Yeah.
to do meditation, you have to go
Yeah.
to the gym, you have
Yeah.
to go to X, Y, Z,
5 a.m.
eat
club.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, 5 a.m. club. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Cold
man,
water, cold showers. No shit.
yeah, cold shower club, man, come on. What the hell, cold shower club? I mean, it's cool. Like I enjoy cold showers, but I never like for haven't tried it, not during this cold shower club, but before when I was a bit younger, I was really into extreme stuff always. So I used to run from my place to the lake, no matter what season it was. So spring, winter, summer, always it was like it's a 5 kilometers run. It's fine, like it's a nice run. And we have in Geneva such a nice lake that it's hard to say no, right?
Mm.
So puff, and then you go and you want to push it further and you take a cold shower. I can say, after having verified it, that these cold showers, they do not like craft you into a different person. It's just
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah. Agree. Agree.
So yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Mm. And so yeah, I think that it's like my way, and if I had like something to say to persons that are not like so tight, etc., is that hey, you go, man. Sometimes not being all straight and being a bit wavy, like actually allows you to surf on the waves
Yes.
and make a great job as well.
Yeah.
So
You do
just
you. Yeah.
exactly find your thing that works.
Yeah.
And my thing that works is, as I said, living and surfing the wave. When I'm
Yeah.
perfectly fine and connected with myself, I am. When I go like do my crazy experiences, it's great as well. And most of the time it ends up well. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. And I am able to actually write about what I experienced, whether it's sadness or whether it is like sometimes you experience even like aggressivity. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can like so many feelings if you just like try to live the moment and focus on little things and listen to other people and observe a lot. I love watching people in the bus, like how they are, what they're doing, how they look. I wrote a song about like bus riding when you come back from a big party at
Mhm.
3 a.m. and that basically the bus looks like a spaceship, and that you come back and you look at all these figures with like so many expressions. It's crazy. So be open to the world, even in your excesses. Never forget. That's a most important thing.
I agree, man. That's beautiful, actually, what you're saying, and because I sense that great artists are great students of reality. Are great, have a great eye for detail, and are very into contemplation of what's going on around them, what's going on within them, and they can translate all these observations and all this study that they make, not in an intellectual way, but in the emotional aspect of it, and translate that into music, translate that into shape, into visuals, and translate that into many other types of experiences. that at the end kind of makes us connect all within ourselves. So I see you're doing that, and that's super cool. Another question I have, for example, is that how do you see the current state of the industry? So how do you see how music is going?
So, wow. Okay, so how do I see that it's going? Okay, so I'd say that ah, it's funny because when you if you ask me this question, I have like my artistical point of view, and since I studied economics, I
Oh
I
yeah.
have also like all the insight on the economics point of view, but from an independent artist perspective, I would say that the industry is basically not. I wouldn't say that it's worse than before. I wouldn't say that it is like better than before either. I just
Mhm.
believe that what us as independent musicians we have to learn nowadays that maybe we didn't have to learn like back in the days is that we have to understand that internet made it that you're not like just your local band competing with just the other local band and maybe the band of the other city. Have
Yeah.
to get it that basically you're, and I don't like saying the word competing, but there's still
Yeah.
one cake, that many labels and that many
Yeah.
opportunities. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, even if I love every creator out there, thank you for
Yeah.
creating, whether you do pop or metal or
Yeah.
whatever, keep doing what you do. And yeah, I would just say that it forces us to evolve into this new frame in which we have to be like twice more creative and twice more use all these new tools. Like we have to
Yeah.
learn that we're not alone anymore, and we have to use the new tools, and that this also what is very important is that like our success now more than never
Yeah.
isn't defined at all about like all this media game that in which we're playing. Like so
Yeah.
the industry is going well. Musicians, if they focus on creating and they really enjoy what they do, like we do with our band, like of course we dream of playing at the Paleo Festival, Coachella, etc. But the main thing of our band is the music. So
Yeah.
we're happy and we love it. But yeah, if you want to go further into the industry and get signed on a label, play on the big stage, etc., new tools, um, acceptance also is important. That there will always be another band playing
Yeah.
almost like things that are similar. And instead of seeing them like a threat, hey, get in touch, make a show
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Now it's the best time to actually connect and collaborate with
Yeah.
the other artists,
Yeah.
which wasn't possible before. So I would say that the industry, if you're not like focused on like really success, is the best it has ever been,
Yeah.
because you can have so much fun with people, like
Yeah.
so much fun. Like you can contact a guy in the US and say, hey, I wrote this guitar riff. Come on, collab with me, lay a verse onto this. Wow, this is fruitful as hell.
Yeah.
And a drummer can play with, and a bass player from the other top of the world, like, wow. So there's there's lots of pressure if you want to make it success wise, but there's lots and tons of opportunities if you just want to actually play music sincerely and accept the new nature of our world, that music is music, but music business has two words. It's either you choose the path in which you're really into the music section of the world, music business, and you can have the best fun. Either you choose the business oriented side of the word music business, and it's going to be a tough road, but you most probably also have lots of fun. Us, in Geneva, we kind of try to have a bit of both. Main
Yeah.
focus on the music, but of course, we also understood that we have to like grind and connect with people. And the way I perceive it, the way I see it, is that instead of thinking like, oh no, I have to market my stuff and like go into videos, and it's I have to sell my product, as some people could say.
Yeah.
I hate seeing it this way. The way I see it is, hey, okay, look, man, this is an opportunity to actually like broaden the universe around your music.
Yeah.
So have fun, learn how to make your videos, learn how to take pictures, And this is like a skill set that you can develop, which can even be helpful in other like fields of your life. So
Yeah.
that's why I say music industry is tough but booming. Tough but booming. That's it's great, and we love sharing with people. Like stories behind songs, also like collabing with like other artists, meeting people like you, Subject A, and doing a podcast is great. This would have never happened like if you think at the period of the Beatles.
No, no, impossible. Impossible.
So yeah, so that's why I'm saying I think that people that worry a lot about the music industry most probably should put the same energy into being happy and seeing the positive sides, because it's only positive at the end of the day if you're willing to play the game, and if you really like do this not to actually like fulfill your ego, but more to actually like really share your music, because
Yeah.
that's the thing also. I know lots
Yeah.
of musicians that are just all about the fame and that don't have that much love for the art, and I can get that in this mindset very frustrating to be thrown with thousands of other bands, thousands of other rappers, etc. Like it's not the same game at all for them that it is for us that are just here to enjoy the ride and try to connect with people.
Exactly. And I think in a way, and not to say, because I also don't like a lot the terminology of competition, but of course in capitalism it's kind of like
Mm.
essential. But we can go deeper into the economics of it later. But
Mm.
I also sense that there could even be an advantage from people that want to connect with other people and just want to do it because they love what they do.
Definitely.
Because it's a great differentiator between all the other ones that just want to do it out of the plasticity or the ego trip that it is. No, so I think generations and a lot of people now are looking for something that is legit, that's something that makes sense, that's something that is real, and
Of course.
more and more people are getting tired of the same old business tactics, the same old remakes of songs, the same old covers, and all these types of
Mm.
things. And I agree completely with you. What I like a lot about what you're saying is that when you focus on the thing that you love and you do it just to connect with people, then this is the time to be in. This is the
Yeah.
moment, and this is the state of the industry you want to be in. Because if it's about collaboration, if it's about co-creation, if it's about a global a global community to connect, nowadays we have all the tools and we have everything we need to actually get these things done. No, but if it's just about to compete for the sake of competitiveness or for the sake of fame and all of that, it's got to be quite challenging now for
Yeah,
whoever
exactly.
wants to go in that sense. Yeah, that makes total sense, man. That's very cool. That makes total sense. So and more talking about like you specifically as subject though. So when was your first contact with music? So when was the first time you picked up a guitar?
Oh man. Well, this is gonna be a two leveled answer, because
Love.
like I think that first level is to telling you very honestly, subject A, and I'm not saying this in any crazy way, but one joke I make very often is that I was somehow blessed that I hear instruments in my head and not voices. Because if I hear as many voices as I hear instruments in my head, I would be at the psychiatric asylum for sure.
You will be a
So
mixer.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that is something I noticed, because people tend to ask me like, how did music come? And I was like, it never really came. It always has been there, like whether it was singing in the shower when I was young, and as I mentioned before, I had a past in breakdancing, like doing hip hop, etc. I was, dancing into like, malls when the shops were closed all night with some b-boys and b-girls. It was great. So music has always been within me, and which is kind of funny because my mother, basically, she dreamed of becoming a singer, but she couldn't make it for family reasons. Well, she when she was younger, so she always had the radio on when I was young, and one thing after another, I think that not only does it run through my veins, but also this blueprint that we all have, like, got activated by my mother listening to lots of music around me. So that's how that is the first level answer, is that I think that music never really came. It always has been.
Mm.
And my second level answer regarding the guitar, I can still remember that day. Like there was this guy at the just before high school. How do you call it? The school just before high school.
Oh, middle school.
Yeah, well, there was a show again, always like school shows. There was this
Mm.
guy called Subject L that had a black guitar and performed in front of all the students, that were there. And I looked at him and I instantly knew, like, I straight up knew, okay, this is what I want to do. So there's this, and by coincidence, while I was breakdancing, our teacher used to, while we're like done with really the breakdance part and we were stretching, etc., he used to like play us some music, and he played that one track that until today is still moving me emotionally each time I listen to it. So I try not to listen to it in, moments in which I'm have to be focused and composed. But Maggot Brain of Funkadelic,
Mm.
oh my God, it is a 10-minute guitar solo that it is so much with just a guitar, and it talked to my soul from the first listen until nowadays. Like I close my eyes and I see trees with leaves of fire and whales singing, flying above. That. Uh,
Awesome.
it's crazy, and yeah, I'm not even messing with you. Like this song is so cinematic inside me. It is so intense for me that it made me also grab the guitar. And guess what? Like it was one of the first guitar solos I absolutely wanted to master, and nowadays I do. And then you have this big question like, hey, what next?
Mm.
And the beauty of it is that there's always a next when it comes to art. If
Yeah.
it's not an inspiring song that you wish to learn, it is time to write yourself, and like you will be maybe the one like composing a song that inspires somebody else based on your emotions, etc. So yeah, the power of the guitar like just melt my heart basically, and that's how I pick it up. One music and one show in which I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, I love it. And like I went for it. I was 18. I took it like actually, I took the guitar actually like late enough when I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true. No, but well,
Mm.
you did then amazing with it. Like that's so cool. Actually, yeah. So also wanted to ask you that, like, if you would have to start again, or your music career, or for somebody out there that is listening to us, that is thinking about making a band, thinking about getting into music, what would you tell them?
Go ahead. Just have the best
Just
fun.
do it, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that is my most genuine answer is don't listen to others. Don't focus, on how, how, don't focus on what other people think in the beginning. It's absolutely normal to sound shitty at the beginning, and I think that it is even amazing when you sound generally shitty in the beginning
Mm,
because you only improve.
mm.
Whereas at my state of my music thing, sometimes I record things and I listen to it the very next day, and when it sounds shitty, I'm depressed. So enjoy the beginning of it, embrace every moment, have fun. That is it's the core thing. Have fun. Some people will say take music theory. Some people will say take a guitar teacher or like whatever instrument you want teacher. I would just say just follow your instinct. I taught myself the guitar. I taught myself the singing. My best ally was actually listening to music. That's a sure thing.
Yeah,
And YouTube, when
yeah,
I had a doubt, etc., I just like went on YouTube. I learned like so much, all the resources, and this is you know, uh, how do you say, come back to the conversation we had before we like talked about internet and the cons. Well, a pro is that we have all the resources out
yeah,
there, like really.
yeah,
If
yeah.
yeah, you can go on this venture by yourself. Just grab yourself a guitar. um I didn't even, my first guitar, I didn't even have speakers to play it. Like no, honestly, like I really like bought this weird-ish Chinese replica of a Stratocaster, and
Mm.
this is when I was 16, no, 15, something like this. After I saw the show of this guy, and I bought this guitar to this guy, by the way, to Subject L. He was called also Subject L also, and yeah, I brought it back home and I put it on my bed, and I was like, oh my God, okay, what do I do with you now that you're here? And yeah, I was looking at the guitar. I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to play you, right? But like the guitar was there and it was sort of more playing me because like even the guitar looked amused that I didn't know how to play it, you know? So
Looking
I
at
was
you
like,
like, are you gonna play
yeah,
me? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like, are you gonna do this? You know?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, and I figured out that I could like plug it into the old sound system that my parents had in the living room, but it was a disaster because to have sound, like for some weird reasons, it was either no sound, either extremely loud
Mm,
sound,
mm.
and so that's how I started. Then I dropped it because I was upset, and then like 1 year and a half and between 2 years even, no guitar, nothing. And I was 18 at some point, and I was like, okay, maybe didn't I play with the guitar I bought? But what I'm gonna do is that everything I listened during these 2 years without really touching the guitars, well, I'm gonna invest it into something. And I bought myself a guitar. Like I had a guitar and I bought myself a new guitar with an amp this time, and I went for it. And I actually like passively studied so much about guitar playing that the second attempt it went smoothly. Like it went
Mm.
really smoothly. Like people used to struggle with the bar chords, etc. Blah blah blah. I did it. So yeah, one word is go for it the way you feel, like going for it, and also have fun. That's
Yeah,
so important.
yeah.
And don't worry if you sound shitty in the beginning, because that is something many people I encounter say, yeah, I tried to learn the guitar, but it sounded so bad, so I stopped. No big deal.
Keep on
It
going.
sounds shitty. It's like nobody gives a damn.
Yeah,
And you shouldn't, by the way, because when you were born, basically, that's always what I say. When you were born and you were a baby, basically your language was blah 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 blah. Nobody cared. Well, consider yourself a baby in guitar. Nobody cares that like you're bad at the beginning, but look at now, you can like express like complex opinions with your words, etc. Something that if you gave up when you were a baby, you would never be able to do today. So it goes
agreed.
exactly the same with the guitar, actually.
That's a great
So
example. That's a great example, man. That makes total sense. And I think also the earlier advice, what I love it because by the fact of trying to enjoy and seize the moment in every time you do it, you can actually get better consistency at it. Because I see that a lot of the problems of a lot of creators or a lot of artists is that the consistency is that they're actually going at it and having certain consistency in it. I guess because sometimes we forget to have fun in what we do, and then that's a good
mm,
advice to actually keep on going at it and to keep on following it up. And that's great. That's great stuff. Now I have
of
another
course.
question. Oh yeah, sorry, you were gonna say something.
Oh no no no! Tell me. I was
Yeah.
just agreeing.
Cool. So in this, I was listening to your music in 2019. You guys released something called "Little Love."
Oh,
Uh,
little love.
yeah,
Yeah, this is a
I
sweet
I
song.
I love that song. It was great, musically, like lyrically, all of it. Can you tell me the story behind Little Love? How did it come?
Well, little love. Well, it was 2018, like when I started writing it, basically it was 2018, and I met one of my ex-girlfriends,
Mm,
which is Subject J.
mm,
And yeah, it was lots of nice memories, and it was a vibe at the moment. And even if I wrote this song, as I said, love songs can be coping mechanisms at some
yeah.
points. I started writing it when it started going south with that person,
Mm, mm,
but hey, it's somehow, you know when I write these songs, it's always like to remember that even if a relationship like goes south, it's okay. It's totally fine because look, now you're writing a song about like how great it was, and like it was me reminiscing about like the good times, and it's based on a true story. Like second verse starts with the lines. Wait, yeah, the second verse starts with the lines. You made yourself essential to my day. Funny it started in a quite nocturnal way. First dates, playing cards, walking by the lake. This was exactly what we were doing, and it was so simple. And this is something that I share it, like I really cherish these moments. And yeah, what triggered the writing of the songs is that basically at some point when everything started getting complicated between each other, I just was thinking like, hey, how did it become so complicated when actually we fell in love doing the most simple things? Like it is true. We used to spend days just walking by the lake, and then I talked with my friends and I asked them like, hey, like, do you remember when things were simple with your girl, etc.? And they were like, yeah, hell yeah, I remember. It was so great, Like, I have this friend that used to just like take her for car rides, for instance. And then like, it ticked in my head. I was like, man, this is it. Love has to be pure and simple and genuine, and this is something like people can relate to, and I need to take it off my chest anyway. So yeah, let's start, writing about it. And I started having this, and in the chorus, like it goes like, your eyes into minds make me feel alive and free. That's it. Also, the most simple look, no need of plastic bags, you got everything I need. That's it.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, and so that's how the writing started. Reminiscing of the simple moments and discussing with friends about like what were actually their favorite moments with their girl. And when I even asked like some girls around me like what were their favorite moments, like I had such sweet answers from time to time. Like really, some girls telling me, like what I like the most about my boyfriend is just like, when he comes back home and he actually like tucks me in the couch with a blanket, and I was like, man, this is this is kidding me right now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
PG
yeah,
13, sweet man. Yeah, that's
no, it's so nice. So yeah, it's a nice song. I like it. I always get in trouble when I date a new girl because she asks me like, yeah, who was this song for? Who was this one for?
yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I really wish they could understand that, I'm more writing about general feelings that we could all feel.
Yeah.
Of course, they're triggered by stories I lived through,
Yeah.
but they're really much more instants that I capture and that I try to make eternal somehow, and not instants for myself, but instants for everybody, Everybody has a souvenir of a nice simple date. Everybody like can relate, I guess, to the simple things, to this one nice look this girl gave you, and then you started dating, and then wow, like yeah. And then there's the backstories of the song in which, as I said, like wrote it when it started going to shit. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Of course, especially because inspiration and the message that you want to give behind your music is not it is not tied down to this economical idea of private property. It's not
No.
tied to this idea of it is just exclusive for one person or it's just exclusive to one situation. It is something that you very well said. It can just connect and correlate with anyone. So I see it
Exactly.
completely. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you like this song, man. It's been a while since I didn't hear about it. Like, it's not the song that people discuss with me the most because people like generally see this as just a love song. When actually it's true that the message might be that hey guys, present is now. Appreciate even the most simple things because those moments are most of the time the best moments. Like.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it's a beautiful song, man. No. And I did my homework, so I was not gonna come to this
Thank you
podcast.
so much.
And no, your music is cool. I liked it, and I also wanted to check it out. And also, by the way, you have a new release, no? You just
We
released
do.
something. What? Tell us the
Yes.
story. Tell us the story if you want to share, of course. It's
Of
called
course,
Addicted to Risks. No, that's
absolutely.
the newest album, or sorry, the newest single from you
From
guys.
the album.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, subject A, at this point, I want, before we delve into this new track thing, like just thank you so much for being such a great host and a great listener. I hope that like what I provide with my words and experience will be useful to anybody out there. And I just shoot out to you. I know you're in front of me, but shoot out to you, man. You're doing great work. And listeners, like this guy's is a really great host. Does his homework, terrific questions. Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you, Timur.
And so yeah, talking about the latest release, Addicted to Risk. So yeah, Addicted to Risk is, I guess, the fourth single that we released of our new album, which is called Darkest Secret. And my
Oh, yeah.
background is the cover of the album, which also I'll say a word about it later, but
Cool.
let's get to Addicted to Risk. So yeah, remember before we were discussing the periods in which you're not exactly into the creativity, but you're, into the experimentation phase as an artist. And yeah, I don't know how to put it exactly, but I believe that for many people actually have traits that are most probably similar to minds, which are really, pushing it sometimes very far to get that dopamine rush. Like some
Mm,
people consider that it is a ADHD trait. Some people say it is just like a human behavior. Others say many things about this, but at the end of the day, I kind of feel like we all are looking to feel good. This is one thing, that defines basically humanity, right? And some people are very extreme into this quest of being good, feeling alive, I would say even more. And I have to admit that I am part of those who really need to feel alive, to really enjoy being alive. And so
yeah.
this, you know, sometimes drove me into like a crazy situation, but hey, it makes great stories to talk about afterwards. But
Great songs. Yeah.
nah, but the truth is that behind this song is a strong message, is to be very, very careful at the end of the day, because we're all chasing dopamine so hard that we most of the time engage into behaviors that are very self-destructive.
Yes.
And so, yeah, the song is really cool. I impersonate the very darkest side of my personality into it. I talk about the sins. I talk about dopamine. I talk about dope. I talk about all these big words that are very often, assimilated to danger. And well, I don't know if it's good or bad news, but hey, we're all our own danger, and the danger lives within ourselves. So it's really a call to be alert regarding these sides that we have. And just I would say that I wrote this song in a period in which I was accumulating, excesses over excesses, whether it is going out, whether it is like, doing extreme things in like the mountains, etc.
Mm,
And I noticed at this moment, like, oh my God, why are you doing this? Because at some point you ask yourself, like, hey, why do
yeah.
you do this to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it's because actually I kind of feel like my brain is broken, and that I need to like really chase the dopamine like so hard to actually like feel happy. And like some people say that you might have these type of things when you're not really happy with yourself, which I partially can agree on, because if I agree with this, because it's true that I used to have like these behaviors when I wasn't feeling exactly fulfilled.
Mm,
So I was looking for the fulfillment in ways that ones would consider negative, and others would actually consider thrilling. And yeah, so that's about addicted to risk. Like the dopamine chase is strong within one that doesn't feel exactly well. But yeah, I know like many people can actually relate to this,
Yeah.
and it's a yeah, how do you say? It's concerning me because again, I think the best times are when times are simple and that you don't have to go to extremes to actually feel great, right? It's not
Yes.
like when you like said nobody to anything, nothing to anybody, and you went onto a self trip, I don't know where, etc., and that you're like, in the biggest trouble ever. It's not the best time in general, but
Mm,
at the same time, you went for it, huh? So
yes.
it's a particular topic.
No, I love it, man, and I think it's a great topic to talk about. Um, yeah, the search for dopamine, I think it's a hell of a trip because I think I had a very close experience with that during COVID because a lot of my dopamine and a lot of my serotonin was coming from social interactions and being
Yeah.
around people, laughing with people, connecting with people, hugging, all these types of things. And suddenly you are into these conditions where all of these things are suddenly not allowed, or suddenly are not so easy to do, and then you need to confront yourself a little bit. And so if I'm not getting these things that I need to keep on going, how am I gonna keep on going? How am I gonna how am I how am I expected to actually figure out what am I supposed to do, and how am I gonna how is my brain actually gonna keep on going? So yeah, I understand perfectly this, and it's a great thing that you're talking about it, because we definitely need to. I think one of the issues that happened with previous generations that kind of affected us is that we kind of put a lot of things under the rug and pretended that they were
Oh
okay
yeah,
and they were fine,
definitely.
and we weren't having open conversations about these issues that we're having. And definitely there's got to be a lot of people. I correlate myself with it, uh, that we are addicted in a way to dopamine, and that we need to keep on talking about it, finding ways to reduce the way that we approach life and the way that we want to look for intense experiences to kind of feel alive. And what do we do and what do we don't do in this? So and better to do it in a community, better to do it in a safe space, better to do it through music, better to do it through expression. And that's I love it. I love it. I love that, man. So I'm happy you guys are releasing this. That's cool.
Yeah, it's great that you relate because it was it was a how do you say? It was a risky take, I would
Yeah.
say, because we felt that it is such a delicate topic to talk about when you think about it, because yeah, many people can relate, but also like many people can feel triggered by the song, and
Yeah.
you know, because we're basically like putting our finger, like
Mm-hmm.
onto a very actual issue. People are chasing dopamine everywhere. I'm the
Yeah.
first one to actually like, do so in some periods of my life,
Yeah.
and it never brings too much good. And the
No.
problem is that like, yeah, I see it everywhere, like, but we're in a society in which the reward like trigger is so small that people, how do you say, like people tend to go into easy rewards things rather than hardworking things,
Yeah.
and easy rush of dopamine rather than, long and well deserved one. For
Yeah.
instance, the best example, I tend to boil down things very often into just like human interactions.
Yeah.
Two examples come to my mind is before, to have an adventure with your friends, like a little adventure, we used to go and meet them, right? But
Yeah.
nowadays I observed like, cousins, friends that have like little brothers, etc. Instead of hanging out and taking the time of going to one's place to the other one, they meet on Fortnite or stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
Because they have the easy dopamine rush like this, and like Fortnite and all these video games are basically designed to deliver dopamine each and every 3-4 minutes, so you are stimulated and taking all that in. when it comes to actually, like adults, instead of building a strong and solid relationship with a man or a woman, regarding if you are, depending on if you are a man or a woman, well, lots of people go onto dating apps, and
Yeah.
they don't even make the genuine step of putting themselves out there in order to just, meet somebody. Like the minimum effort to actually have a reward, which is a incredible reward when you think about it. Meeting
Absolutely.
somebody naturally and actually making a great souvenir and a nice story is nowadays under the threat of all these like self and intro. It's dopamine introverted on yourself, if you may
Yeah.
see what I mean.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's, to me, it's really dangerous, whether it is with relationships or whether it is with like children growing up, and even for young adults, or even less young adults that try to navigate, because yeah, the pleasures are everywhere, and very often they are disguised sins. It's like having too many drinks. It's a
Yes.
disguised sin. You feel like good, etc., strong, and feel perfect, chatty, etc., but you destroy your body.
Yeah.
But you had this dopamine rush, but like, that's it. So that's what we're basically talking about in the song. Mentioning cigarettes, mentioning, lots of like dark imagery,
Cool.
and also big reference to the Bible and to the second verse with the Garden of Eden,
Mm.
eating the apple,
Yeah.
and yeah, this thing, that the apple for us is, the like the knowledge that you can have such pleasure so fast. All this like access to pleasure is basically the apple that us in our century have bitten into by
Yeah.
building the society. And now that we know that it is out there, it's hard to say, hey, I'm gonna make so much effort, and like please myself with something that is more lasting, that
Yeah.
just asks more hard work. So that's all the imagery of the Garden of Eden, the apple, and
Yeah.
the words, etc. Yeah. So yeah, I love this song. It's my favorite, by the way. I love it. It's hard to talk about it, but it's my favorite of the whole album. Like,
Oh, well, I'm happy you're sharing about it, and I think it's a fantastic topic to really explore. And again, I appreciate the courage that you took to actually compose it and to release it. So I really hope a lot of people listen to it, and everybody here, please go listen to the song, and it has something important for us to listen. Yeah, I see completely what you're saying, and for me, going back to this images about or metaphors, because I think the Bible is kind of like full with metaphors that kind of gives
yeah,
us certain moral or certain idealistic lessons. No, same happened with the Greeks with like the Odyssey and all these types of things. These are not real historical things that they're talking about. They're just lessons of life. No, lessons about love, lessons about war, etc. And in the Bible, I really like the idea of the devil, which was also, by the way, in the Garden of Eden. And for me, the devil has become this type of this voice, and also this serotonin and dopamine seeking voice inside of you, kind of like telling you in the morning, you don't gotta get up and you don't gotta go run. Just don't do it. It's cold out there. Don't worry about it. And when you don't go, and then it's 2 p.m. and you see everybody that went out and ran or whatever, or you remember that you programmed with yourself that you were gonna run, that same voice comes to you and says, you're a lazy mother trucker. You
yeah,
see,
yeah,
didn't do it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't do it. No, you're like you suck. You suck at whatever you do, and it's brutal, man. Because I see also that these mechanics of the small pursuits of pleasure, the small rewards, on the long term is very damaging. It's definitely
Of course,
it's
of
it's
course.
super toxic for anybody. Like there was even a study, to say kind of there's no prediction of success, of course, but there's could be certain correlation between your ability to wait for the long reward and your capability to resist the short-term reward. So if you
Yeah,
are
exactly.
capable of being able to go to the long-term reward or to look the big picture and to put effort into something, then your probability of becoming successful increases. And so that makes total sense. So that's super cool, man, that you're actually exploring all of that. Cheers. Cheers.
Well, thank you so much, and it is also a great example that you gave with the two voices, and also like linking it to what you were saying regarding the Bible. You know, like I think it's funny because to me the Bible and all these books that are like full of many teachings are
Yeah.
somehow like reflections of ourselves, and I love
Yeah.
that you instinctively like put the devil like inside ourselves, because you know I kind of feel that at the end of the day we have no true natural enemy, but that our worst enemy is always ourselves, and
Yeah.
this is the personification that the devil is into these books. You know,
Yeah.
it's the worst side of us. And yeah, so very inspiring what you said, man. Like I was drinking your words. I was like I can only relate 100% to your sharings. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. No, the same I can say with your music. No, I really love that. It's really inspiring. It really touches something within me. So, cheers to that, man. So yeah, I think that's for now. The questions that we have here. I think yeah we can close it up. Do you have anything you want to share? You want to say? You want to ask? Yeah.
Do I have anything I want to say? I want to ask. Well, as I said, like I'll point back to the cover.
Yeah,
Because
please. Oh yeah.
I know I mentioned before, but
Yeah.
yeah. So this is the cover art that we have for our album Darkest Secrets, and it is very 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 important to me because it mimics the idea that you know, among us, every one of us, we all have a universe, and this is why basically this is like an inker that is spilled, and the ink actually reveals the universe. So, you know, I can't wait,
Nice.
you know, for you to meet other people and maybe reminding this image that like behind everybody there is a university which is just here to be like unveiled and revealed and discovered, and that music is, you know, our way of actually sharing our universe, that I hope that you will have a blast exploring, and we look forward to share more of the moons, more of the stars, more of the crazy planets we're living in with our rock band, with all of you. And thank you so much if you guys listened until now. This podcast, it was a pleasure talking a bit more about music and also like music industry and all the topics we visited, the addiction to dopamine, etc. with you, Subject A. Really grateful for this opportunity. And yeah, well, we'll be releasing wait, here I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it. Nobody knows. Nobody knows it yet, Sheba. So you're gonna be the first. This is exclusive information. But we said we'd be releasing one song every 2 weeks for this album. Well, great news! In 2 weeks, we're actually releasing a video clip for the song that is about to be released. So can't wait to share it with you. Subject A, I'll forward it to you,
Yeah.
and I was looking forward to hear what you have to give me as a feedback for it, because I really enjoyed like your take on music, on the different topics we had. It was really great actually talking with you, man. Like I would have loved it if we could have had it, you know, in real life, this moment together. You're a
We will.
great guy.
No,
I
no.
hope so, yeah.
Yeah, no. Like this is also an extension of an invitation for you to participate as many times as you want, anytime you want. You can come here, you can talk, and we could. Yeah, and we'll also, if you come to the Netherlands, try to
I'd
stop
love
by,
that.
and we'll spend some time.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll spend. I will show you around. It's very important here. This small town where I'm at, but it's nice. It has very nice history, and I think you will like it. I think it's a big
So
contrast
cool.
between Switzerland and the Netherlands, because Netherlands has no mountains whatsoever, and
Yeah.
Switzerland it's all mountains, so that's beautiful.
Yeah, well, feel free also to hop by. I'd love to show you like our mountains, and I hope that you will show me like the Netherlands on your side one day. It would be actually like really really cool, and who knows what could be born out of this meeting. I'm pretty sure lots of great things.
Yeah. All right, man. But so again, I'm super thankful, Subject though, that you spent the time with us, that you actually said the truth and went as honest as you could in all the answers. I think for me it was one of the best episodes we've done. I love
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it was great. And your music, your message, I think is very pure, it's very fresh. So I'm just excited to see what's gonna come forward. And yeah, so we'll stay in touch. All right.
Me too. I have just one last question.
Please, please, please. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, like we're of a generation of musicians in Geneva,
Mm.
in which like almost all the bands are extinguished or dead because of COVID. Well, not dead literally, right? But they basically like split because of COVID, etc. But I would just like to mention like two bands if it's possible for me.
Please, 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 please.
Okay,
And if
so
you
basically.
send us the links of them, we will also put it on the description.
This would be great, man. They
Yeah.
they really deserve attention. Like one band is called Chockingonacandy. They're like basically the generation below. They do like punk rock, but they're amazing. And truly, as you said, this generation that is just below us is really impressive because they talk openly about things and man, they do great music and they have like really still this motivation to go up and to give it all. They're really like really amazing. So first band is Choking Candy and Arcane is the second band, which I'd love to talk about. Great energy, just beginning, and these guys are very good musicians. So if you guys want to discover bands in Geneva, please feel free to actually go discover Choking Candy and Arcane. Shoot out to them. They're great. Loved performing with them. Amazing guys, all of them.
All
So
good.
yeah, thanks for letting me talk about them.
No problem, no problem. We will share both your link and the link of them both if you share with us and in our social platforms. So it's gonna happen. All right.
That is so nice. Thank you so much. They deserve it. Like they're good guys.
Cool. All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll stay in touch, all of us. And thank you so much again, Subject O. And let's close it there.
Thank you, Subject A. It was a blast. And
Yeah.
I wish you the best. I hope
Yeah,
I'll see you
likewise.
soon again.
That was that, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.